What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And joining us now here is Bill O'Reilly, mega best-selling author, of course, also the host of Common Sense with Bill O'Reilly here on WABC Radio. And Bill, first off, let's talk about, we've been talking a bit about Israel. I definitely want to get back to that because obviously this is such an important anniversary. But let's get to, if we could, you also want to talk about the Trump rally, Trump's triumphant return to Butler, Pennsylvania over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, let's start with Israel. So I take a little bit of a different view, as I do with almost everything. So I'm looking at the historical point of view here. Rather than the emotional aspect of it. And there's certainly nothing wrong with getting emotional when 1,400 people get slaughtered for no reason. You should get emotional. But you hear, and I was in London yesterday. I went to the Jet Minnesota game, and there were demonstrations. You know, they call themselves pro-Palestinian, but it's anti-Israel. That's what it is. Because in order to be pro-Palestinian, you would have to have a solution to the problem of them being held hostage by terrorists, right? If you're going to be pro-Palestinian, the first thing you'd have to say would be, well, how do these people get out under the heel of Hamas and Hezbollah, who are abusing the hell out of them and using them as civilian targets? But you never hear that. So it's anti-Israel. So anyway, there were demonstrations in London, and they were all organized by the Communist and Socialist Party over there. And they didn't hide it. They had signs. And I, was asking a few of them, and the cops did a very good job, by the way, in London. The Metropolitan Police over there, because they're not armed and they're pretty disciplined. I was impressed. But I asked some of these kooks, hey, what has communism and socialism have to do with the Israel-Hamas situation? And they look at me like, oh, well, we don't really know. I said, well, wait a minute. Your organizations are behind these demonstrations, spending a lot of money getting these people out. Why? And there's never a reason.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It is. Wow.
I would say age is 19, maybe, average age of these demonstrators. But if you look at history and United States, the best example, whenever we've had military action, we have killed civilians. And the best example is Sherman's March to the Sea in the Civil War, where he burned down Atlanta and wiped out all the plantations in Georgia. A lot of civilians got killed in that campaign. And then it was Hiroshima and Nagasaki. There was Dresden in Germany, firebombing of Tokyo. And the reason this happens is that there are bad guys embedded in situations, and those bad guys have to be rooted out. And when you do that, civilians die. And so I'm, as a historian, going, this is nothing unusual. I think everybody feels bad that women and children are being killed here. But I don't know what the Palestinians expect to happen. What did they think they were going to happen when you slaughter 1,400 people right across the border? What do you think's going to happen? So that's where I'm coming from. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me about all this resistance and all of these protests.
Yeah. By the way, I'm glad you brought up the hostages too, because that's one thing. There's still 101 people being held, 4 Americans also, Bill, too.
Bill, we're 29 days to the election. Any gut feeling right now? I mean, I think.
I don't.
Go ahead.
Everywhere I went in London, because they know me over there because of YouTube and my television presence is pretty strong in England now. So everywhere I went, people go, "Oh, it's going to happen, mate," and I go, "I have no blanking clue." But what I did was I booked John McLaughlin tonight on Common Sense on WABC at 9, right before Rita, and he's the internal pollster for Trump. All right, Trump pays him. And I grilled him, boy. Oh, did I grill him? Well, you guys will get a real kick out of it.
I'll be listening to that one.
I can't wait.
Yeah, and he goes, I can't tell you what the polls say. I said, come on, I'm your friend. I won't tell anybody. Go ahead. Tell me what the polls say. What I got out of him was, and I knew this would be true anyway, they think they're going to win. The Trump people think they're going to win. And they got it down to the Electoral College as well. And you'll be very interested to hear him talk about that. But just the fact that they think they're going to win doesn't really mean anything. Hillary Clinton thought she was going to win in 2016. But Trump himself, and, Donald Trump has a tendency to believe what he wants to believe. He's fairly confident that and the Butler thing helped him. You got 100,000 people out there in the middle of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it was packed.
And then, Kamala Harris goes, well, people were walking out of Trump. Right? No, and you want to know something really interesting? You know me, I always have to confirm everything. I don't believe anybody because that's the hallmark of a good journalist. I'm patting myself on the back, but that's absolutely true. We called the state police of Pennsylvania and said, what's the crowd estimate? They would not tell me. That is so weird and strange. Because whenever you want a crowd estimate, you call the state police or the local police because they have it. And the Pennsylvania State Police flat out wouldn't tell not only me, but anyone how many people showed up there.
Why? Because it looked good for Trump? They didn't want it to get out.
It confirms the number.
That's exactly right.
Their boss is a Democrat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's it.
That's exactly right.
That's all. Confirms it by silence.
It's really, and then the Associated Press, which is now corrupt, what they write, they didn't even address the crowd size, but they did say that the crowd was all white.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there were some Hispanics in there, No, the crowd was all white. Associated Press says you canvass 100,000 people, find out if they're white? Can you imagine if the crowd was all black? I mean, it's the press coverage is staggering, but I see a change in it. They're becoming more desperate now because it's 4 weeks to go tomorrow, and there's a prevailing wind here that says, Trump could do it, and now you're seeing the mainstream media in particular get really, really vicious. And really, you could see the change in their demeanors, where they were haughty. They're not haughty anymore. And I'm picking that up.
Now, what's interesting, Bill, and I agree with you, sort of watching the media coverage. Do you think also, look, the last debate, I'm going to go to J.D. Vance was superb. And it's almost like, whoa. They seemed even more concerned after J.D. Vance. And I watched Tim Walz this weekend. He was a mess. They were trying to put him out again. And maybe they're seeing what we're seeing.
But the worst was Kamala. Did you see Kamala?
Yes. Oh my God. On 60 Minutes. Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, it was, I play the clip tonight. Her prompter goes down and there's a 30 seconds of nothing. And then she says, she starts repeating herself over and over.
Yes.
It was like, don't you know what the thread of your speech was going to be? And she didn't.
And it was in the middle of like a key sentence. You know what? Also, Bill, I watched that moment a couple times because it was like, whoa, it was a statement that she's made 1,000,000 times. Suddenly the prompter drops and she's like, 32,
Right, Rita, she said 32 days 5 times.
Yes. She was trying to like hope it was going to catch up.
We got it the first 4 times.
Right.
We know it's 32 days.
It was astounding.
She didn't know what to do. She panicked.
Could you imagine making this woman commander-in-chief?
Yeah, sitting next to you. Can you imagine dealing with everything we're talking about with Iran right now and everything else? Oh, my gosh.
I'll make it even more personal. I thought Katsimatidis was going to fire me and give Kamala Harris common sense.
No, that show's called No Common Sense.
No, we're going to have her debating Anthony Weiner. Why not?
My bet's on Anthony Weiner.
Yes. Me too. And I told him he should run for Congress.
Well, next week when I talk to you guys on Monday, I got a big Congress story for you in the 1st District in Suffolk County. It's big. It's another grifter out there, and we'll talk about it, but it's pretty nasty. And then there's Proposition 1 that would undermine every parent in the state. I'm sure you guys know about that.
Yeah, that's like misappropriately named, isn't it? Like the fair pay or equal.
They call it equal rights amendment. It's
right.
Absolute total consumer fraud. It's got nothing to do with what they prepare. It'll give rights to illegal immigrants and to transgender.
It would allow the state to tell parents and grandparents, you have no say.
Exactly right.
Whether your child becomes a male, even though the child was born a female. You have no say. The state will dictate it. I mean, if New Yorkers vote for that, I don't think they will, but I don't think they know.
That's my point, Bill. I worry when people see the title, because you see the title of it and it sounds like a good thing. And then when you see the substance, as you're talking about, they need to know the substance and don't just check it off because they think it's a nice title.
It's, this election for New Yorkers, it's not just about Trump and Harris. It's about whether this state is going to go full-blown Marxist. And all the big Dems are behind this thing. They all want it. It's a really good topic for WABC Radio.
Yeah, absolutely. We have been talking about, but we're going to continue, Bill. I'm glad that you brought that up. And Bill, bravo also again on your book. I know it hit the big bestseller list. We're so proud of you, Bill.
Oh, thank you. I mean, and I know it brings them great joy at the New York Times to put me at number 1.
I love that.
They go out for drinks. Like, O'Reilly did it the 19th time. What a guy. What a guy.
They're drinking for another reason, right?
We'll be listening tonight at 9 o'clock to see what John McLaughlin has to say about those polls.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Bill. And again, of course, Bill, 9 to 10 p.m. here on WABC Radio.
Most tax pros leave a message.
It's Jane. I'm moving on to a TurboTax expert who beat your price. Adam Devine, tell him how I feel.
Hey, tax pro, she's been thinking twice. Best believe TurboTax will beat your price. This is a tax break.
Switch to a TurboTax Live expert and we'll beat what you paid your pro last tax season. Make the switch at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice. TurboTax full service only. Sign up by 12/20/2024 and file by 4/1/2025. Full details at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice.